If you're a manager, want to become a manager, or if you want to know how to make gluten-free yeast rolls, stay tuned because Christina Brooks will be giving you tips that will change your life. Greetings. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. My name is Dannita Trice, and I'm the founder of Tips Change Lives. Again, this is our Tips Stories series, and I'm super excited that you're tuning in again. We have someone that I highly respect. We are a part of the same professional organization. We've served on a community board together. What I love the most about her is that she's a visionary. She loves to advocate for those who can't otherwise advocate for themselves, and she is no nonsense, let me tell you. It is Christina Brooks. Christina, come on in the room.
Hey, Dannita. Good to see
Hey,
you.
Christina. Thanks for joining today.
Thank you for inviting me in. It's so exciting. Congratulations on launching a new show.
Tell us a little bit about your background.
Sure. So I actually started out when I graduated from my undergraduate education as a volunteer in service to America. It's also known as AmeriCorps Vista. Before that, I'd done the standard first job thing, working in retail and doing food service. And when I graduated, I didn't know what I wanted to do with myself. So I volunteered to serve my country for a year and have an impact while I figured that out. So I spent a year recruiting and training volunteers to advocate for abused and neglected children in the courts out in rural North Carolina. And just, left with a fire in my belly to make a difference and help improve a system that wasn't working for everyone who needed it. So I got a graduate degree in clinical mental health counseling, spent some time doing career development over at the institution where I got my graduate degree, and spent some time doing trauma counseling with women and children before finding my current adventure. And it really is, and it's been a labor of love in workforce development, where I build regional youth programs that help youth with barriers, bust down those barriers, and get opportunities for things like employment and going to college and learning how to manage their money and opening their first bank accounts, and all those so important first steps to launching life after high school.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you for sharing that with us. You spend a lot of time making sure that everyone else is okay. And I want to know, so tell me a tip, any tip that has changed your professional life.
Yeah, so it's going to be a two-part tip, because it took hearing both parts at different times in my development before I really got it and absorbed it and felt it. And it had a transformational impact on who I am as a person, and most importantly as a leader, and how I work with other individuals. And that's first part was my mentor looked at me one day when I was brand new manager of an information desk for my undergraduate, and he said, "Christina, you can't fire the whole world because you're angry."
Wow.
And I was like, yes, I can. And, I've never forgotten that moment, and his patience and his understanding that I was fired up. And, I thought that was what it meant to be a leader, was, show a strong hand.
Wow.
And a few years later, I've been chewing on this and working on myself and trying to grow and be better. And I had another mentor who pulled me aside one day, and she said, "You're very passionate. You're always trying to fight the fight. And at some point, Christina, you need to decide which is the hill you're going to die on. And is this going to be that hill?" And when she said that to me, I heard, "Christina, you can't fire the whole world." Wow. And those two pieces kind of came together and helped me find this measured way of moving myself forward, of helping to move my team forward, and build lasting impact from a place of measured growth, and not always that instant response of I gotta fight this, and I gotta declare war on all things at all times. Sometimes it makes more sense to retreat, gather, process, and grow, and then go back in just a more measured way.
Amazing. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. As leaders, it can be an internal, let's check ourselves really quickly. Sometimes we forget that professionals are people too.
Yeah.
So tell me a non-professional tip that has nothing to do with your career that changed your life.
So I actually have, late in life, found that I have double food allergies. I'm allergic to both dairy and gluten, and cooking from scratch has always been a family tradition. I remember being 3 years old and standing at my grandmother's side, learning to make, fresh pots of stew and baking. And when I got handed these new realities of not being able to eat these ingredients, I had to learn to cook from scratch. So I learned how to make bread from scratch in my kitchen. In an hour or less, I can make these huge fluffy yeast rolls. And it was really stumping me trying to get it right, because you can read these ingredients and you can read the instructions, but baking bread is more instinct than it is following directions. And I'm an instinctual person. Sorry. So the trick to get a soft, big, beautiful yeast roll, both regular gluten and gluten-free, is to cover your counter. Don't put anything down on it. Just clean it, sterilize it, cover it in the flour you're using. If you're using gluten-free, do an all-purpose and put in your xanthan gum and dump it, and then sprinkle the top with the flour and just beat it. Just hit it and pound it and fold it, and do it a lot longer than you think to. And if you're using regular full gluten bread, don't be afraid to pick it up. And I mean, just go to town. You got some frustrations in your life. If your day at work was not a good one, just sit there and really beat that bread up, because it just releases all that fluffy beauty. You don't have to do it so much with the gluten-free, but you still have to get your hands dirty and really get in there and fold it. And until it's no longer sticky, it's not ready. So don't be afraid to use 3 times the amount of flour you're being told to use, especially in the gluten-free world. It's all about getting it smooth and non-sticky. And then once you're ready, leave it alone. And it's going to be big and it's going to be beautiful.
Christina, I was not expecting you to say that at all. Of everything, I want to make yeast rolls now. My grandmother used to make yeast rolls. They took hours upon hours to make, but I want to use your recipe, okay? That was great.
1 hour, fully raised, they're good.
All right, send me, actually email me the recipe.
We will do that.
All right, awesome. So something fun. I asked you if you could bring your drinkware that you use throughout the day. I have mine here. So let me see yours.
So during work, I'm in a mobile position and it's important to stay hydrated. So I'm a fan of the steel water bottle.
Ooh.
And this one is my favorite because I actually picked it up at my other hobby, which is stalking authors at book festivals and book signings and squealing in their faces, and then getting a takeaway. And this one actually has Maria Vicker's name on it. And this is an author that I had never read before. And I met her at a book signing and just fell in love with who she was as a person and was so excited. She was funny. So I got her to sign it. And unfortunately, my signature has washed off now because I have loved it so much. But this is my favorite because on bad days or tough days, when I look down and I see the snowflake, I remember laughing for hours with Maria and the other authors at this event, and just the joy in those moments when we're not at work and we're just being human beings.
There you go. There you go. All right. Well, Christina, it has been a pleasure to speak with you today. I thank you for joining us. Is there anything that you want to leave us with?
I think the only thing I would really leave you with is don't be afraid to find joy in any day and in any place, and just in any way that you can. Life is beautiful. Go enjoy it.
Very, very cool. All right, everybody. You've learned about making bread. You've learned to be nice to employees too when you become a manager. We thank you for that, Christina. And I just want to encourage everyone out there that it only takes a tip a small tip applied consistently that could change your life. Stay tuned for our next episode, which is upcoming soon. Thanks so much.